The night was quiet on the edge of town, the kind of silence only the countryside could hold. A single mother named Sarah stood on the porch of her small farm, gazing across the fields. To most of the town, she was just the quiet woman who lived alone with her young son, Daniel. Nobody knew much about her past, and she never offered details. Her life seemed simple, feeding the animals, tending to crops, raising her boy with quiet determination. But Sarah carried a secret. Before she was a farmer and a mother, she had once been something else entirely, a Green Beret sniper, trained to endure the harshest environments and take the toughest shots. She had seen combat, carried out missions nobody in her small town could imagine. Yet here, she kept that part of herself buried, hidden beneath the image of a humble, struggling mother. One autumn evening, as the sun dipped behind the hills, a group of local bullies gathered at the edge of her property. They were young men who had grown up spoiled, used to pushing people around. They thought her farm looked like an easy target, an isolated house with no husband in sight, just a woman and her kid. They laughed as they plotted to harass her, tear down her fences, and maybe even steal her livestock. To them, it was just a game, a way to entertain themselves at someone else's expense. The trouble began small. One morning, Sarah found her chicken coop door broken open, several hens missing. Another day, tire tracks cut deep across her fields, ruining her crops. She stayed calm, fixing what was broken, not drawing attention to herself. Daniel noticed her silence. "Mom, why don't you tell the sheriff?" he asked one night. Sarah brushed a hand through his hair and whispered, "Sometimes, Daniel, it's better to wait and watch." But the bullies didn't stop. They escalated, emboldened by what they thought was her weakness. One night, they stormed onto her farm, loud and reckless, throwing bottles, shouting insults, and daring each other to go further. Daniel clung to his mother's arm, fear in his eyes. That was the moment Sarah's patience ended. She realized she wasn't just protecting her farm, she was protecting her son's sense of safety, his childhood. Calmly, Sarah led Daniel inside and locked the doors. Then she went to a hidden chest in her bedroom. Inside was a carefully wrapped case, untouched for years. She opened it, revealing her old sniper rifle, its metal gleaming even in the dim light. Alongside it were her military dog tags, reminders of the life she once lived. She hadn't wanted her son to see this side of her, but now she had no choice. She whispered a quiet promise to herself, "They'll never touch him. Not while I'm here." That night, as the bullies approached the barn to set it ablaze for fun, they were met with precision they couldn't comprehend. From the shadows, Sarah moved like a ghost, using the land she knew better than anyone. Every sound they made betrayed them. She didn't fire a shot to kill, she didn't need to. Instead, she used warning shots, breaking bottles near their feet, hitting metal signs with unerring accuracy, sending the echoes bouncing through the night. The boys panicked. They thought they were being hunted, and in truth, they were. One of them shouted, "Who's out there?" His voice shook, bravado slipping into terror. Sarah finally stepped into view, her silhouette sharp against the moonlight. Rifle steady, eyes unflinching, she said, "This is my land. And you will not touch it again." The bullies, trembling, realized the quiet farm woman wasn't who they thought she was. They dropped their weapons of mischief and ran, tripping over each other to escape the night. By morning, the whole town had heard whispers of what happened. Rumors spread quickly. Some said she was ex-military, others said she was just lucky. Sarah never confirmed anything. She simply repaired her fences and went back to her chores, as if nothing had happened. But Daniel knew. He had seen the steel in his mother's eyes, the unshakable strength she carried inside. That night, when she tucked him into bed, he asked softly, "Mom, were you scared?" She kissed his forehead and smiled faintly. "Being brave doesn't mean you're not scared, sweetheart. It means you protect what matters, no matter what." The farm was quiet again after that. The bullies never returned, and the sheriff soon noticed they kept a wide distance from Sarah's land. People in town began to look at her with new respect, though she never sought it. She only wanted to give her son a life of peace. And that was the truth of Sarah's story, a quiet single mother, underestimated by many, who carried within her the strength of a warrior. She had traded the battlefield for the farmland, but when pushed, she showed that courage and love were more powerful than fear. By the end, her message was clear: true strength is not about violence or revenge. It's about standing firm for the people you love, even when the world thinks you're weak. And sometimes, the quietest people carry the loudest power.